So the Game Awards happened last night, and I feel like there's some parts we need to really talk about when it comes to this show in general, because there are some parts that are fantastic about it, but some parts I feel like are really kind of frustrating when it comes to watching this entire show. And how Jason Schreier said there was going to be a couple of holy S moments when it comes to the show, and I think we had him. I think so. And also, we were so close to hitting a bingo on our personalized bingo card here. Sadly, Bill Clinton didn't show up, but the big miss was that Elden Ring actually lost in some categories, so we didn't actually get everything. We didn't see any Halo, and Noah got played off by the music at all. But we had some cringe. We had some mobile games. We saw Phil Spencer. We had some shadow drops, which I was shocked about and loved. Oh, but there were some pretty awkward moments.
And now,
and of course, some cringe.
Yeah.
What I say about looking at me.
But Jeff, we gotta do something about the format of this show. Like and subscribe is always appreciated if you like this type of videos, and let's get right into those details. I'm sure if you're watching it, you're probably wondering, okay, who actually won the whole dang thing? Well, it was Astrobot that won Game of the Year. Kind of expected that one. Didn't really see any other kind of game that could really keep up with it. Maybe Black Myth Wukong, or maybe also Elden Ring, but it's also a DLC. I mean, I know that a lot of people did really like ReFantazio as well. Sadly, that did not win. The game I was rooting for the most throughout the entirety of the show was definitely Helldivers, because it's Helldivers, and they actually did end up pulling out a W when it comes to the best ongoing game, beating out Fortnite. Managed democracy always wins. And best multiplayer, beating out Black Ops 6, which is a solid multiplayer for that game, and also beating out Warhammer 40k. Like, that's pretty good. But we also had some pretty big announcements get dropped, and some really significant trailers that I think will, one, give us that holy S moment that Jason Schreier was talking about. I was definitely not expecting to see a Witcher 4 trailer, especially at the beginning of the show, which was super awesome. Me personally, I have not actually played a Witcher game, but I'm actually pretty excited about this. I did watch through the series at least, and I'm currently playing through Cyberpunk, so I'm kind of on a CD Projekt Red kind of kick at the moment. And to see Ciri come here as like going to be the Witcher, and now is confirmed as the playable character, right, in the game, which I thought was kind of interesting that they decided to go with like a character that you play as rather than like as a created character that you saw like with Cyberpunk or something like that. But especially with some of the rumors of The Witcher 4 utilizing a custom character, and apparently Geralt's going to be involved with this game in some kind of way still. Be interesting to see, again, like just how it all plays out. I just kind of wish we actually had some kind of gameplay or something to kind of look at. I know that it is pretty early in the development of The Witcher 4. I mean, like currently it was just announced like during the summer, right, that the CD Projekt Red recently just went into full production of The Witcher 4. So they don't really have anything like in gameplay or anything like that. It's more just kind of showing off tones, vibes, and just kind of establishing like what I don't want to say expectations of the game, but kind of to set like what you can expect to see in it, I guess, in a way, with it being a Witcher game, right? It still looked very much like a Witcher game, still looked like it played very much like a Witcher game, you know, but we'll see what kind of differences or changes that they make with the game, especially switching over to Unreal Engine 5, which is going to be pretty crazy to see what they do with that. I think another game that would have been that holy S moment would have been this announcement of a brand new game from Naughty Dog, the people that made, well, all these fantastic games you're looking on the screen right now, especially from The Last of Us, making a game called Intergalactic, which I find kind of interesting to see like what they actually end up doing with this. Again, this was very much a game trailer based on just cinematics and vibes, really. But the thing that really kind of stood out to me, that really distracted me from the entire experience of watching this trailer, was just the insane amount of ads that were in this. Like, we had no idea what we were looking at, and then we see like an outer space kind of thing. You see a ship roll in, and then once that ship came into focus, you're like, wait, hold up. This is a Porsche? This is a Porsche starship? Like, I mean, I would assume like way off in the future, yeah, maybe Porsche's still around and they can make making starships. That would make sense, right, in a way. But like, it just like really throws me off when like it takes me kind of out of the element. But it's not the only one in this trailer, because when I was watching the rest of this trailer, I was like, where are the other types of ad promotions that we see right here? Like right here, right in this little scene where you see the character come to sit down at their chair, you see a Sony logo right about here. I'm like, yeah, it's a Sony game, right? Naughty Dog basically runs, it's ran by Sony, basically makes Sony games, right? So that would kind of make sense. But again, it's just like seeing all the stuff that kind of just really kind of takes you out of your element. And also right here is like a most wanted kind of picture or whatever. It's the actor Kumail Nanjiani. Like it doesn't, not even addressed or explained at all. And Kumail didn't even tweet anything about this, like once the trailer went live. So I don't know if that was like supposed to be in the game, but it's there. Like, I'm surprised that this soda that she's drinking is not like from Chick-fil-A or something. You see the Sony logo like in full display right here as well when she was typing in some of that stuff. And then like right here again, you see on her shoe, there's an Adidas logo. Just shows up right there. I'm like, God, how many ad placements are in just like this singular trailer right here? Now, maybe it's like they're trying to reach out to like that 80s retro sci-fi vibe, which can kind of make sense with those brands were very prominent, especially during that era, and still are to this day. But I'm wondering if like this is just kind of a sign of how game companies can get money for their games moving forward now. We're like, because we know that it's kind of at like a peak breaking point right now when it comes to how much games cost to develop, how much time, and having it be solely based on just, investors. And if it doesn't work out, then, well, the game's a complete flop. But like, at least like if the game has ads in it, like play ad placements, then, at least like they made some money of it and the advertisers will be happy that that's in the game in a way. I mean, we see this in movies all the time, right? Where you see like one type of car that's in a movie, like you see everybody driving a Ford truck or something like that, or you see everyone eating at McDonald's whenever they're eating at a restaurant, because like they paid for that advertising. And I think maybe we're just at that point now in gaming where we see just ad placements within the industry now. It might just be starting to be a common thing, or maybe they're just really trying to reach for like a vibe, and seeing those brands would be something to call you back to the moment. I don't know. It's just really threw me off. Now this trailer right here for Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN is exactly what I want to see in a trailer, right? I want to see in action, in-game, gameplay. What can you do? Why is it fun? So I get an idea of what I'm looking at. There's so many of these trailers that I saw in the Game Awards. I'm like, that looked cool, but I don't know what I'm looking at, kind of thing. And this is really awesome. And a lot of people are thinking like, oh, a new Elden Ring DLC. No, this is a brand new game. It's a co-op Elden Ring, which I think is super cool to see if we can pull something like that. I think that's something that like these RPG type games really need to focus on, like trying to figure out ways to bring people together and not have it be such a solo experience, be something that you can kind of grind and play together. Maybe that's something that Baldur's Gate 3 kind of helped innovate a little bit when it comes to that style of game, where you can bring people together to play. That's why these multiplayer games have become so popular, but now we're starting to see a little bit of a swing back to single player games, because single player games were actually just fleshed out finished products. But this is really cool. I really like to see this, and really, it would actually maybe even get me to play Elden Ring, because it would be something I could play with my friends where they can maybe carry me a little bit, because I'm kind of a little trash at Souls-like games. Now, you know who I think the big winner was for this entire showcase? It was Helldivers 2. Not just because they brought our boy John Helldiver onto the stage to actually announce like the update that's coming out, but this update was massive and exactly what fans wanted. So it's like, then they're currently just blowing people out of the water when it comes to the population again for this game. Because of course the Helldivers trailer was on point, it was sick, it looked amazing, got people hyped up, because I brought in the long-awaited, anticipated faction of the Illuminate, if I pronounced that correctly. That was from the original Helldivers game. Now you can fight them in this game now, and they're super cool, very different when it comes to saying like the different types of factions that are in the game. But the one thing I thought was really freaking cool is they actually added in a vehicle into the game, aka basically a warthog is now effectively in Helldivers 2, which I'm like, absolutely hell yeah, dude. Like, people are excited for it. You can plow through all your enemies, and also urban warfare, something we haven't had yet in Helldivers 2. So new environments, new weapons, new experiences, new faction, completely new experiences. And yeah, people are eating this up right now. Just right now on the Steam charts alone. Like, it's like, this is like the stuff that people wish their trailers would do when a new game launches. Because like, look at this. I have to take my webcam, but like, look at this. So you can see just before the Game Awards announcement, and we're peaking around like 18,000 concurrent players, like nothing too crazy, right? Maybe during like a peak hour around 22,000. So right before the announcement, we're around 18,000. Now, just after it, 131,000 people. Like that is a absolutely, it's calling a skyrocketing jump is an understatement. Like that's insane, dude. And that's how you reveal new content. That's how you get people excited about your game. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a massive Helldivers fanboy, and I'm absolutely going to be jumping in with this update. Probably make a video about it. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments. If there was one thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Game Awards, I know that this has been mentioned before, but I think my biggest issue was just that the amount of trailers and basically ads that are placed throughout the entirety of this show. There were long segments of just trailer after trailer after trailer. And I know this is something that was done previously, so it's nothing really new with it, but it's like, it gets really exhausting because when you want to watch an award show, you want to watch an award show, not trailers that you can just get from watching like a Nintendo Direct or Sony show or like whatever Xbox wants to do for their kind of stuff. Like, I understand like you have to make money off these type of shows and they're really expensive to put on, so this is probably how they make a lot of their funding, but I just found it so egregious, the amount of ads that we had. But not only that, like a lot of the awards that were mentioned within the show were just kind of glossed over real quick. Of course, there was a legend on here on YouTube that kind of timestamped the entirety of the show, so we kind of get an idea of like the spacing between like ads and awards, and it was pretty rough. If we go right here, you can kind of see, for example, right, we can look at one of these ads like right here. So like the best performance, right, happened at 1 hour 35 minutes, and then it wasn't until 1 hour 53 we got best action adventure game. That's nearly 20 minutes of just trailers and ads. There might have been a performance thrown in there as well, but like, I don't know, maybe that could have thrown things off. But then you see right after that, like most anticipated game, multiplayer game, community support, art direction, were all just 1, 2, 3, 4. Like all this, all 4 of these massive awards were announced just within like a whole minute. They got a minute of just being able to announce that kind of stuff. Like imagine being like an art director out there. Is a very key role when it comes to game development. It's the one time you actually get your praise and your recognition, and you had like 5 seconds of just Geoff Keighley saying like, hey, you won. All right, cool guys. Back to the ads. But you can see right here again, between like ongoing game and best adaptation, that was a 15-minute gap there as well. Another huge gap between best adaptation and score, where it was 3 hours and 35 minutes, and best score was 3 hours and 52 minutes. Like, I understand like you gotta have ads to, get your money in and stuff like that. But it's like, I also want to watch an award show. Of course, it wouldn't be a Game Awards with a bunch of nerds getting all together in one place who are very socially awkward, to not understand social cues or situations that have awkward pauses or really just weird moments in general. And this is one of my favorite moments in the entirety of the whole thing, is when they were talking about like the founder of the PlayStation or whatever. Look what happened here.
Join me in welcoming the father of the PlayStation, the great Ken Kutaragi.
And I think he doesn't really fully know what's going on or something, because he like stands up, waves, and like, hey, thanks everybody. And then he just starts like walking forward. And then you see the bouncer, he's like, he gave him a look. He's like, you look at the Geoff like, do I look this guy up? Like, what's going on here? And then he just stands there. He doesn't actually get on stage at all, which I found so funny. I don't know if he fully understood what was actually happening, where they're really just kind of acknowledging people in the crowd. They're like, hey, you had a great year, It's great to have you with us, I thought that was hilarious. We had our badass moment of having Harrison Ford show up in the Game Awards, which was really cool, but again, there was this amazingly awkward pause that happened. You can just tell like the teleprompter's not working.
And now.
And then that starts working. It was like really weird pause. But I was kind of surprised, like the lack of awkwardness and the lack of situations where like poor transitions between shows. With the live show, that stuff kind of happens, But overall, like I think after that, I think it was actually pretty good. I think they toned it down a bit on the unnecessary celebrity appearances. I mean, we had that when like Snoop Dogg went on stage and sang a song for whatever reason. But overall, it was a pretty good show. It kind of dragged with a lot of those trailers and those ads being placed in. We didn't quite get a bingo though. I mean, we got awfully close, but it wasn't quite close enough. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this type of videos, like, subscribe is always appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next video. So, peace out.